So a new report about the Fantastic Four First Steps gives us some insights on a particular plot point of the movie, which is very interesting. But on top of that, if this scoop is accurate, then this report, combined with things that we already know about the film, seemingly reveal a good chunk of information about the opening scene of the Fantastic Four. And not just the opening scene, but possibly a good chunk of the first act. Since filming is complete with the Fantastic Four and they're going into post-production and the editing process, that means that there's a good chance we'll start to hear a lot of leaks, a lot of rumors, a lot of rumblings about what could happen in the Fantastic Four. As many people get their eyes on it, a lot of things tend to slip out. Sometimes we wonder if they do this intentionally or things are actually being leaked. For example, the leaked photo for Spider-Man No Way Home of all three Spider-Men, I'm still shocked that somebody got to take that photo and get it out of the studio. It makes you wonder if they planned that to increase the hype. But the Fantastic Four First Steps comes out this year. We have 7 months to go until July 25th. And this new report tells us that at some point in time, the Fantastic Four might not actually be a team. Now, I have my own take on this, and I think it lines up really well with what we'll see in the first act, but I've seen a lot of people online pretty confused, but don't worry, we'll break it all down for you. The report is this. The team disbands after the birth of Franklin Richards, but comes back together when the Silver Surfer arrives on Earth to warn them about Galactus. This is coming from the insider, My Time to Shine Hello, whose track record lately has been hit and miss, so of course this is not confirmed. However, I do think it lines up with what Marvel Studios is planning to do for the intro of the Fantastic Four, because we know that this is not going to be an origin story. Not a typical one, that is. And this is a very Kevin Feige thing to do. In fact, it's actually becoming more common with comic book movies now. James Gunn has even stated that Superman that is coming out for DC Studios isn't going to be the classic origin story of Superman. Why? Well, because we all know it. Or a lot of people know it. Now, don't get me wrong, they're gonna show us the origin in the movie, but that's not what the entire movie is going to be about. I mean, in Captain America Civil War, Peter is literally about to tell Tony Stark the radioactive spider story. Tony Stark asks how he can climb on walls. Peter literally says it's a long story, then Tony interrupts him and they don't actually tell the story. So it can be done very well and very tastefully. And here's how I believe the opening of the movie is going to all take place. Because they do have to somewhat explain how the Fantastic Four came to be and got their powers. It doesn't have to be your typical origin story movie. It can be done very quickly. And there's a few things that you need to know about what we know about the Fantastic Four so far. One is that there are a ton of actors confirmed to be in this movie. We have John Malkovich, Paul Walter Hauser, Sarah Niles. There's a lot. Plus, not to mention, Marvel Studios is really being secretive about some characters or some actors that they are bringing on their sets for the movie. We've seen the leaked photos of the person covered up who Marvel's trying to keep secretive. We've also seen the photo that Pedro Pascal posted himself with the person next to him blurred out. So there are some pretty big people in this movie. And from what we've heard, there are actually going to be quite a few villains. But we do know that the main villain obviously is going to be Galactus. But other villains like Mole Man have been confirmed to be in the movie via leaked set photos. We also know that the Fantastic Four in this universe are going to be pretty famous. And if you didn't know, this is going to take place in an alternate universe, not our main 616 timeline, and it also is taking place in the past. Based on some reports that we've heard, this is a universe that never experienced the Dark Ages, which is why the universe is more advanced than the main 616 timeline, even though it's back in time in the 60s. And now, if this report ends up being true that the Fantastic Four disband, then I think it all kind of comes together to show us a little montage of how the Fantastic Four came to be in their current place in life, where Sue and Reed are married with their firstborn, Franklin. I believe the movie will introduce the Fantastic Four and then sort of give us a montage of everything that they've gone through. This will seemingly include showing them going into space. Although we don't have an official Fantastic Four trailer released yet, Marvel Studios has shown teaser footage to several different audiences. at events like D23. And the trailer leaked, we've seen the videos, we've seen the photos. We sadly can't post them on here because they'll get copyrighted, but we've seen the Fantastic Four in astronaut uniforms, preparing to go on a launch. And this is seemingly the origin story of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four team heading into space, them getting exposed to a massive dose of cosmic radiation, which in turn gives them their powers. This is one scene that is almost certainly going to happen in the beginning, since we have seen the trailer released by Marvel Studios to those audience members showing us the rocket ship and them in astronaut uniforms. Then we have a lot of the actors who are confirmed to be in this movie. Some of them are most likely villains, with the only one officially confirmed right now being Mole Man due to some leaked set photos. But what happens is once they get their powers, they're going to start to fight crime. They're going to start to defend the people and defend New York City, and probably just Earth in general. So I think we might have a montage here of them fighting several different villains, and that's how they rise to fame. Them being the team that was going into space, and we've seen a lot of reporters talking to them in the footage that was shown by Marvel. That all probably means that they're already relatively famous. But after coming back from space with superpowers all of a sudden, defeating bad guys, that'll make them super famous, which is kind of a part of their history. They actually become quite famous by defeating Harvey Elder, aka Mole Man, in the comics, and it sounds like that might be the route that they're going to go in the MCU as well. So I think they're going to show all of this, the Fantastic Four going into space, becoming a superhero team, becoming very famous, defeating a lot of different villains, and then if this report is true, they'll ultimately show Sue and Reed having Franklin, which we know that is confirmed already, confirmed by some leaked set photos, but also confirmed by the director telling us that the title First Steps has a double meaning first steps of Franklin Richards as a baby. And it sounds like once Reed and Sue have Franklin, well, they kind of decide to call it quits, or at least take a break, which totally makes sense. Their parents, they have a newborn baby. They want to focus on raising him. Plus they don't want to put themselves or Franklin in jeopardy. Now the report says disband as a team, but I don't think this means that the Fantastic Four family is going to disband. I think it just means that they disband from fighting crime. I saw some comments state that, well, what is Ben Grimm off doing? What is Johnny Storm doing? Why is he off doing something else when he has a newborn nephew? Well, I don't actually think that they go anywhere. I think they're all still together, they're just no longer fighting bad guys. And again, keep this in mind. This is an alternate universe than the 616 universe. There could be other superheroes in this universe that could fight crime in place of the Fantastic Four. In fact, this could be that mysterious cameo figure, a superhero that kind of comes in and fights alongside the Fantastic Four and gives the Fantastic Four the ability to kind of retire or take a break to raise Franklin, because this superhero is there to protect people still. This could be an X-Men. This could be Tony Stark. Heck, we've heard that Dr. Doom is going to have a little cameo in this movie. Perhaps he's originally good, or he's a variant in this universe and he's a good variant. Maybe it's Spider-Man. That would be super cool. And I know this won't happen, but I wish it would be Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. That would be pretty epic. Again, not gonna happen. Wishful thinking on my part, but I hope it's somebody really, really cool. Heck, if the rumor about the Council of Reeds showing up in the MCU at some point in time is true, this could be another Reed Richards variant. Perhaps one that goes on to become the Maker, because the Maker is a pretty prominent character in the 2015 Avengers Secret Wars. Whoever it may be, we probably won't find out until the movie actually comes out. But of course, we know that they're not going to remain inactive. When the Silver Surfer arrives warning them about Galactus, the superhero Fantastic Four team will get back together to fight Galactus, and I really hope it's going to be a lot better than what we saw in the previous Fantastic Four film where they fought Galactus. Kind of. And based off of what we know, Galactus is coming for Franklin Richards. This is because, in the comics at least, he has the ability to create universes. I'm assuming Galactus wants Franklin to have access to essentially unlimited energy, but I'm also pretty sure that Marvel Studios is going to use Franklin Richards to restore the multiverse in Avengers Secret Wars and kind of give us that soft reboot of the MCU. That is also what kind of happens at the end of Avengers Secret Wars, the 2015 run. essentially Reed Richards and his son Franklin restore the multiverse. And I'm pretty sure that's how Secret Wars is going to end. But I also think this is what we're going to get in the beginning of the Fantastic Four. A brief story about their origin, how they get their powers, them becoming a team and fighting bad guys, them rising to fame as the Fantastic Four, then the team disbanding and kind of showing us where they are now in life, with Reed and Sue being married with their son Franklin Richards. I think that's how the first part of the movie is going to go, and then things are going to accelerate once again when the Silver Surfer shows up. But if this does happen, go ahead and let me know your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Do you like it or not? Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future MCU update videos. And you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.